everyone. I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. Today we're going to be talking with someone who is right here from the Wadsworth area, and he is involved, actually he's been involved all over the country with helping injured veterans get to the resources that they need to have better quality of life. So David Holsinger. Holsinger
Yes,
is the way to pronounce it. It's so great to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
I know you just keep hopping in and out of Wadsworth
Yep.
with your job. Now, where do you work? What is it that you do?
I work for a company out of California called VQ OrthoCare. We're a manufacturer of products that are utilized for veterans as well as the civilian world for well health. So you can live life without having as much in your daily living. But I am in charge of the military component. I put together a component 6 years ago to actually find ways to help veterans not have to suffer so much because of what they've gone through. It's a well-known industry, being in the VA. It's hard to get things done and to know what you can do and what you can't do and what you can get and what you can't. And what we do is we work with a company out of Pensacola, Florida, called Lavelle Government Services. That is basically my other partner in life. We are a small business, disabled, veteran-owned company. So what we do is I go across the United States and go from VAs. I work with VAs. I work with the DOD, so my active duty bases. We do a lot of work with the Legions and the VFWs. Because the VFW and Legions, there's where the guys go there. Guys and gals will go there to find out what's going on and see their friends. So we basically do like well health meetings to bring a therapist in and talk to the veteran about what's available for them at the VA. And the doctors, they're very busy at the VA. If you've ever been to VA, they're very, very busy. But it's an ability at the VFW and Legions to let the veteran know there's things out there for them that they really wouldn't know about.
Well, how did you ever get involved in this to begin with? I mean, getting involved in something where you are dealing with a segment of our population that has given so much to our country.
Absolutely.
And yet seems to have such a hard time just getting what they need to have a good life.
Yes. I got into the industry in 1989 and basically in pain management, and have been here. I grew up in Wadsworth, Ohio. I graduated from Wadsworth High School and went to Akron U. And when I decided that I wanted to get into basically the pain management arena, we had an opportunity to work with veterans. And my heart's with those guys and gals. They go through a lot in their daily living and what they've done for us as a country. So I have passion for that, and I've been in many veterans' homes that they're struggling with their daily living, and we manufacture a product that virtually I had a veteran tell me in Syracuse, New York, this is the best kept secret in the military. And I was laughing, I was like, and it really resonated, like, you're right, I need to find ways to get out and talk with our veterans. So I put the VFW program together. And for this company I work with, we did not have a military program. So I worked with this company, Lavelle Government Services, out of Pensacola, and designed it so that we could work directly with the VAs and their providers and their physical therapy department.
Well, I think the idea of Lavelle, I'm sure most people are not familiar with Lavelle, but its background is a little interesting too, because it is majority owned.
Absolutely.
By veterans.
I was just down there 2 weeks ago visiting with the guys and gals, and these are all veterans that have been injured themselves and want to help the fellow veterans out. And there's a real passion when you work with veterans that are helping veterans, because they really want to make sure that their lives are the best they can be. But yes, Lavelle is a great company out of, like I say, out of Pensacola, Florida.
And now, is it run by veterans?
Oh, yes. Chris Level from Level Government Service is a veteran. He's a retired Marine, service disabled veteran. And all the folks that work on the team there in Lavelle are all retired veterans. A couple of them are service disabled, but most of them are all of them are retired military.
And there are quite a few. I mean, we've lost most of our World War II veterans.
Absolutely.
But there are still Korean veterans, there are Vietnam
Desert
veterans,
Storm.
Desert Storm,
Yes.
Gulf War,
Absolutely.
and certainly Afghanistan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I do a lot of work with, so I work with the veterans in the VAs, but I also work in the active duty bases. So I do a lot of work with airmen. These guys are jumping out of planes, and the body's not made to hit the ground at 15, 20 mile an hour. Even if you fall the best, you're still going to have bad knees and bad backs. And they come out of the service. The number one military out in the military, if you met out, is knees. And everybody gets their knees replaced. Well, there's actually a product that is manufactured, it's the best kept secret, like this gentleman told me in Syracuse, that there's a product out there that has a 67% success rate of not having to have your knees replaced. And my veterans all over the United States are utilizing it. And they just have to ask their doctor for it. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I educate the patients, because the doctors are so busy, they really don't think about what else is out there, because they're seeing so many patients daily. They want to find an avenue besides an opiate, because the meds it's a big problem in the VA, because they're trying to find some way to take the edge off the pain. And there's still a time and a place for a medication. You can't fool yourself. There's still a time for a medication, but there's also things out there that can be utilized that they don't have to swallow.
That could make a big difference in anybody's life.
Oh, absolutely.
And when we're talking about disabled veterans, we're not just talking about veterans from active duty. We're talking about any veterans.
Any veteran.
Because as we said, so many of our veterans, they're aging.
Yes, they are.
And there are things like the knees and the hips
Knees,
and
the
that.
backs, absolutely. Hands. You'd be amazed how many repetitive hand issues you deal with in the military. They're using their hands, feet, and knees, and their backs. And those go. It's a repetitive issue.
And where, when you're going out and
Mm-hmm.
talking at VFWs or
Mm-hmm.
American Legion posts, or maybe with the doctors and all, you seem to be a bridge between the veterans and the medical community.
They're
that
providers.
is actually, they're
Right.
providers,
Yes.
the providers of their health
I like to be a conduit to that, because when you become part of the care continuum for a veteran with his physician, everybody wins. The patient can go through their life and not have to be worried about, can I go up and down the steps? It hurts going up down the steps. Doctor, what can I use, because I don't want to take medication? We have a gentleman that won the Boston Olympics, and he started at the age of 70, and the doctors told him he had to have his knees replaced. He didn't want to do it, because the doctor said, you can't run a marathon with artificial knees. There's things like that. I have videos of patients there going up and down steps. They're saying, I couldn't do this before. Just going up and down steps, think about that. We look at it as we can do it all the time. If you can't do it, it's a real privilege to go up and down steps, because it doesn't hurt so bad. To take a walk with your child, your grandkids. And like I say, to me, I have a real passion for it, because I've seen how it's affected patients' lives and veterans' lives. You look at the suicide rate in the VA is quite high, because they don't think they have any choices. They're running out of choices to, where do I go from here? I'm tired of hurting. I don't want to ride the cart at the grocery store anymore. I want to be part of my life. And that's what we do, and I love it.
The injuries whether they are from aging, repetitive motion, injuries sustained in active combat,
Absolutely.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
The fact is, as they kind of compress the quality of life for people, like you mentioned, the stairs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, going up and down stairs.
Take it for granted, don't we?
If somebody is living in a house that they love, and maybe they have so many good memories and that, and yet they can't make it up and down the steps anymore, what can they do? Confine themselves to, the kitchen and the living room and put a cot in the living room?
You can't afford to move your washer and dryer upstairs.
That's true.
It gets costly. We all take it for granted, the things we do for our daily living. But when I tell a veteran, okay, let's take the steps, and his wife's there with him, and she says, I've never seen him do that for the last 7 years. It's been 7 years since he's done that. That brings joy to my heart, because we've actually truly touched somebody.
You've given them a realm of life that they had lost.
Well, you give them hope. You give them the ability to say, you know what, I don't have to live this way all the time. My back hurts, but I don't want to take the pills. We work with the veterans for backs, for the knees. You think about twisting a jar off because your hands are so bad. We work with those patients, and to me, it's so rewarding to have a veteran say, I'm so glad you talked to my doctor, or so glad you came to VFW. When I saw you that night, I thought, wow, that's me. Yeah.
Well, now, when you talk to a doctor, and we know the doctors are busy.
Yes.
And there is so much changing every day in the medical industry, the medical community, whatever. What is it that you offer doctors?
We offer the doctor the ability to give their patients, be it veteran or even in the civilian world, the ability to have something that they can give their patient, that they don't have to swallow, it's not an opiate, and that they can use at night to get to sleep without a sleep aid. If you think about how important is sleep in your daily living, you're supposed to get 8 hours, but if you're hurting and you're waking up 3 times a night, good luck. So what we're doing is we're talking to the physicians, giving the opportunity, to give your patient something that the VA covers. There's no cost to the veteran. If they go to the VA, there's no cost to them. So the veteran has to worry about their out-of-pocket costs. The VA is going to cover it. We'll come out to their home and show them how to do this, so that they don't, because you don't get something in the mail and dropped off in a box. I have therapists to go out and do this. I have an athletic trainer here in Cleveland. We just had a patient from the Y here. He heard from another gentleman, hey, I got a bad back. I don't like what they're doing for me at the VA. One of the other gentlemen that I swim with here said, hey, you need to talk to Dave, he's got something. And I showed him a back brace that we utilize, and he says, how do I get it? So we gave him the information. A therapist put it in the order, and my therapist out to his home Thursday and fit him. Oh. But if I can help that veteran find a way not to have to deal with the day-to-day pain. I want to go out in the garden, but I can't. I want to do my dishes and not slump over. Think about that. How many patients when you lean on the edges of the kitchen because it hurts so much? This is what we do. And I've been blessed to be able to do this. Good Lord's given me the ability to do this for all these years. I love it. And it's such a pleasure treating the veterans and the active duty guys. I've met with SEALs before. I met with the Rangers. I meet with all these guys and gals that are serving actively now with us. They're training in some of these equipment and some of the Hueys, the older helicopters. These guys are getting beat up bad there. So if you think about what they're doing now at the age of 19, 18 to 32, then they come home and go to the VA. That's when they really, things go downhill quick at that point, unfortunately. And you need to be a resource, which I look at myself as, and my team as.
Well, with the doctors being busy, and the VA staff is certainly busy.
Oh, yeah.
If there's a veteran, there are veterans. There are veterans. Let's just put it that way. Veterans who want to explore this
Learn more
idea
about it,
of the
sure.
non-opioid or
Yep.
or maybe a supplement because they can't get totally off the medications.
Right, there's going to be a need of time, absolutely.
How do they talk to their doctors? How do they talk to the VA staff? How do they get through the barriers,
See, that's
the red tape?
that is some of the challenge that I have myself, because the VA doctors are so busy. That's why I put together the VFW program and the Legion program, because we do well health meetings with the VFWs and Legions. But for the patient, the veteran that says, hey, I want to utilize this, what I always tell them, if you want to look at it, you can go to our website at vqorthocare.com. Look at Bionicare. That is a product that's designed for the knees. And it has a 67% success rate of not having to have your knee replaced. And then they can ask the doctor, hey, this is on the federal supply schedule, which is called the FSS. They all know what it is. The veterans know, say, hey, I want to look at this. And then how do I get it? The doctor can prescribe it, send it down to prosthetics. And all the veterans, you guys know you go to prosthetics all the time. If you need something, you got to go to prosthetics, last name, last four. And the doctors can specifically write as an example, for the knees, Bionicare. And like I say, the gentleman who invented Bionicare is actually Dr. David Hungerford. He invented the total knee surgery, which is amazing, because they're trying to figure out why are we going through so many knees? Well, it's a best kept secret. There's stuff out there you don't have. It's not an injection. It's a process that you wear at night. You sleep with it at night. So think about this. If your knees hurt at night and you're wearing something at night that is actually blocking that pain signal, your chances of waking up because of that pain isn't there as much. So let's go back to the pain component and sleep. If I can get some more sleep, I get up in the morning a little more refreshed, because I haven't woke up 3 or 4 times at night because I'm hurting, or having to get up and take Advil or Aleve or some of the other medications or over-the-counter stuff.
So this is really a discussion between the veteran and whoever their medical
practitioner at the VA, correct.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's something, and you mentioned something which, acronyms, they go right over my head.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned something called FSS.
Yeah, the Federal Supply Schedule, which means to have a product approved by the VA, it has to be on their supply schedule. This product is through Lavelle Government Services. It is on there. It is an approved product for the veteran to get. And that's the scary part. The veterans don't know. And my job and my goal is to educate as many veterans that they know that something's out there besides a med. I don't want to have my knees taken off. I don't want to have new knees. I want to do things and give it a shot. There's stuff out there for that. That's what's the encouraging part. And your practitioner at the VA can get it. Here in Cleveland, they allow it without a problem. You have to, the gentleman that we took care of just the other day was out of the Canton facility. Talked to his therapist. Therapist says, yes, I agree with you. Let's get this for you. She put it into the order for the prosthetics, and prosthetics sent it to Lavelle, and Lavelle sent it to me, the manufacturer, and my rep went out and fit him.
So the real compendium, if you want to call it that, of materials, resources that are available to vets, they're on this FSS schedule.
Correct. Yes, to get on the FSS schedule, you have to have a product, but there's hundreds of thousands of products on the FSS. Mm-hmm. My product is one of them that is on there, though. Mm-hmm. But
so they should be talking to their provider.
Talk to their provider.
Saying, what's on the FSS that can help me?
Absolutely. And the doctors are so daggone busy, though, and they don't think of a lot of stuff because they're treating, 60, 70 patients a day. They're busy. Now, a lot of the veterans now are going outside into the community to the physicians locally because the VAs are so swamped, they're sending patients out into their family practice doctors. Their family practice doctors, if they go to them to be seen instead of going up to Cleveland or over to Akron, those doctors can know about it as well.
Well, that brings up the point of cost then. Don't they have to go through the VA in order to get the cost covered?
Correct. The VA has certified physicians outside of the VA called community care physicians to treat the veteran. So that veteran goes to the doctor outside of the community into a community care facility. That doctor is approved by the VA. he sends his referrals back to the VA. Here again, no cost to that veteran because it goes back to the VA.
Oh, so even though they're going to a provider within the community who's
Correct.
not in the VA as an employee of the VA.
Correct. Absolutely. That's called a community care provider. And that just went into effect 2 or 3 years ago because of the amount of patients that the VA is seeing and the overwhelming, the wait time. Some veterans were waiting years to be seen. And it's like I say, what we're doing is on the community care side, we go out and visit doctors all day long and talk to them. Now it's very hard because with COVID, it's hard to get in to see anybody. But we try to get the veteran to realize that, hey, there's other stuff out there. And how do I get it? Talk to your physician. You talk to providers. A lot of it is, word amongst friends. The gentleman who told this gentleman was another gentleman here at the pool, at the gym, at the Y. So a lot of it's word of mouth too, because like I say, it's the best kept secret in the military.
Well, you provided us with a little video.
Yes.
It's just a very short interview with someone who has benefited from
Absolutely.
the resources that are available through the VA.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at that right now.
Sure, perfect.
Okay. That should just come on in a couple seconds. There it is.
What are some of the treatments that the VA tried to do with you?
They tried physical therapy for a while, and they tried several other braces, but it never took away the pain.
How'd you do after we put you under the bionic care?
Less pain. I don't have all that pain. The more I got better stability in my legs, I got to walk upstairs. With the bionic care, it takes a lot of that pain off.
You're not dancing anymore, are you?
I think I will.
Well, that's really something.
Well,
the fact that maybe he could look forward to dancing after all this
seeing
time.
that and going up and downstairs with less pain. That is the goal of with what I try to do with my veterans is less pain, do things that you haven't done before. You've earned it. You've worked here, you've worked for our country, you've earned it.
The veterans you work with, how do they react to it? I mean, we saw on the video, but is that kind of typical?
That is very, very typical. I can tell you many times a veteran will have them, you couldn't go up the steps, right? Let's go up the steps. And they're sometimes very hesitant, but we put them on the steps and they're going, oh my goodness. Because steps hurt. If you have OA in the knee and you're trying to get it's very painful going up and down steps. The aha moment, as I call it, when they're going, oh my goodness, I love this, I want this. And why didn't my doctor tell me about it? He just doesn't know. And that's why we're trying to educate our physicians in the VA.
So if there are veterans out there who would like you to come to their VA or their American Legion or some other community organization, how would they get in touch with you?
My cell phone is the best way to get a hold of me. If you're there, if you have a question about it, if you have a question about, am I a candidate, or how do I get my doctor to know it, you can give me my cell phone. I'll gladly give out my cell phone. It's 330-603-6409. I work with veterans from Honolulu to Maine, and I live and eat and breathe. My phone doesn't quit sometimes till 10 o'clock at night.
Well, I know when we were arranging your scheduling for this, you said, well, I'll be in Wadsworth 2 days this week and 2 days that week.
I was in Memphis yesterday. I was in Arkansas the day before, all at the VAs and talking with the physicians.
Well, that brings another point. You're traveling all over the country. How are you staying safe?
Mask up, hand sanitizer. I keep it with me all the time. It might sound silly, but you know what? Prevention is worth whatever the ounce of care. It's I use a hand sanitizer all the time. I watch your surroundings and wear my mask. And like I say, I fly everywhere I go. So airplanes, you got a mask on. Airport, you have a mask on, and just mask up. Be safe.
And that's what we all have to do.
We have to be safe.
Right now. It's so hard to know from day to day what to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Dave, it's been so great having you with us.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me in.
Well, I have to thank our crew member,
Yeah.
David Moritz, who
Yeah.
met you at the Y and
Yes.
said, "Hey, come on, we have to have Dave on our show."
Appreciate it. I have a lot of veterans that I talk to here on a regular basis about stuff.
Well, that's great. It's wonderful to have someone from our community who is doing so much.
Lived here all my life.
Oh, lived here all your
Yep.
life.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you so much.
everyone out there, thank you so much for viewing. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. And we hope you'll come back again for another episode of RSVP TV. Have a wonderful day, everyone. For RSVP.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.